SoundCartel.
From SoundCartel, I'm Nicole Goodman, and this is Business Essentials Daily. It's a difficult time for many small businesses, and because of the economic conditions, many are being faced with downsizing. But letting workers go is never easy. Change expert and employee engagement specialist Esther De La Cruz says handling termination with transparency, collaboration and care can make a difficult situation more manageable for everyone involved. Esther explains her 4Cs framework after describing the employment landscape to Jeff Waters.
It's definitely happening at the moment in various different businesses I am involved in as well. And it's heartbreaking for the people that are being let go, particularly when it's a big surprise. But it's also impacting those that are left behind, right? It has a ripple effect. So when I talk to leaders about how best to navigate this space is to try and convince them, like I call them the 4Cs. Try and convince them to really be as open and transparent as they can be around what it is that's changing, the context in which it is changing, which means why is it happening and why now? And it probably is the easiest way to explain it, to connect it to the greater good of the business. There is a reason why at a certain point in time, certain positions may not be, as effective for the business to maintain at that point in time due to market changes or changes in consumer behavior or a restructure that is required to really move the business forward in a new kind of ecosystem, right? Microenvironment. So it happens. That's part of business. Change happens. But making sense of it is a very important part for people to deal with uncertainty and to deal with what's coming at them, making sense of it. And they'll make up stories in their own mind, right? We all suffer from negative bias. We'll make up negative stories in our own mind why they're doing this to me. And a lot of those people might feel it as a personal thing, that it's done to them. But actually, often it isn't personal. It isn't actually related to the individual. It's related to a broader context. So therefore, I say second one is give clear context. Why is it happening and why does it have to happen now? And then the third C would be collaboration. So working with the teams, the people that are left behind as well as in the people that are staying, as well as the people that are leaving, making sure there is open dialogue. Open dialogue around what does this mean? If this person is going to leave, what type of work is left behind that needs to be picked up? What are some of the skill sets that we are losing and how do we catch that, so to speak? So collaboration is key, and open dialogue is obviously the first thing that will help with that, because it means that people that are being let go, they feel part of the solution as much as the people that are staying. It also is a level of respect for them because it means that they were adding value. They do have a skill set that was valued, and we recognize that we may lose that now due to this change, and we want to work through how we best navigate that. The other part to the collaboration is also what does the individual need to be able to move forward once they leave the company? What do they need? Maybe a reference, maybe, a testimonial on LinkedIn, or offer them to be their reference for a new job interview or things like that. Or maybe that you have connections that they might be able to reach out to and see what jobs are available. It could also be that if there is at a larger scale that you engage a company to help them navigate how to go for interviews and how to put themselves back out there. That's also part of that collaboration, right? It's kind of...
That's a great idea, yeah.
Yeah, like there are probably ways in which this can be done at very low cost as well. And what this also says, if this collaboration happens, both from the perspective of for those who are left behind with the extra work potentially, as well as those that are leaving are being cared for in the sense of we're helping you with your next step, it leaves a very positive morale for the people that are staying and for the culture. It shows that, management cares and that we're not all robots.
And if it ever happens to them, then management will do the right thing by them.
That's right.
So they're more committed to the company.
Oh, absolutely. It increases engagement, it reduces fear, and what we can explore at a different time, but it reduces stress, and that has a lot of negative impacts on productivity as well. So the last C that I talk to leaders about is care. And that is the whole idea of showing up with compassion. That is empathy plus action. It's acknowledging that it's not easy, right? When you all of a sudden lose your job, it's your livelihood, you're providing for your family, you have a mortgage potentially or rent to pay and food to put on the table. It's not easy to lose your job all of a sudden for anyone. And so care is about acknowledging that it is hard for those people. And the other part to it is hard, but then the action is, it kind of links back to that collaboration, is like, what could I do to help you navigate this next stage? What is it that from your context as an individual, maybe you're caring for other people, maybe you need some extra time off in the lead up to leaving the company, maybe there's some circumstance that you can accommodate to soften the impact on the individual. So that can be an individual by individual case, or it can be for a larger group, a policy that the company introduces for this whole kind of phase of letting go this group of people. How do we treat those people? Can we leave them off the hook if they take a few hours out of their day to do interviews? Can we leave them off the hook when they go for longer lunch breaks because they might do some networking or exploring other ways, to kind of prepare for that next stage? Those are the types of things that come with that care factor of like, let's not be too rational about it. Let's realize that we have to care for each other as well in the process.
Do you have any advice for the owner or manager who has to actually prepare themselves for this extremely difficult conversation?
I would say definitely prepare for understanding all of these aspects, like what is changing, be very clear about that, know exactly what you can and cannot share. So sometimes I help leaders prepare scripts or FAQs just so that they know, because some information from a business perspective can be sensitive, right? It can have to do with NDAs and things like that have to stay a secret for a while because of commercial reasons. So there's always those aspects that we cannot, and people understand this, that not everything is always public knowledge. So the leader should know exactly what they can share about what is changing. What is the limits to what they can share? They should be very clear about why it's happening so that if they get questions from the person they have to speak to, that they have an answer. If there are areas where they don't have an answer, that's also okay, but they should come prepared to at least expect that they get some questions in the realm of, why is this happening? And why me? Why my role? What is the problem with my role? Or why is my role changing? Or why is this impacting me? There will be those questions, and it will be great if the leader comes prepared to answer them. And again, opening the dialogue. Be ready to expect the questions. Don't worry if you don't have answers to all of those questions. That is okay. You can always revert back and say, I will find out, and I will circle back to you. That creates open dialogue. It means the question wasn't wrong, the question wasn't unwelcome. The answer is just not readily available, and that is okay. It creates a starting point for open dialogue. And then lastly, I would absolutely say the leader should take a moment to acknowledge that the position that person is in is tough. It's a tough moment. We appreciate you've been here for a while, you've contributed, you've worked hard, and this is not an easy message to deliver, and it's definitely not an easy message to receive. So acknowledging that it's hard.
That's change expert and employee engagement specialist, Esther De La Cruz. This episode of Business Essentials Daily is produced by the team at SoundCartel. Thanks for listening. I'm Nicole Goodman. We'll bring you more Be Daily tomorrow. Follow @BE Daily Podcast across social media and head to bedaily.com.au for more from the Business Essentials Daily podcast. SoundCartel.